The modern world is obsessed with instant gratification. The modern world is obsessed with getting a shortcut to everything. The modern world is obsessed with experiencing pleasure with all costs, you see, and this obsession has also impacted our concept of masculinity and the way men now pursue their desire to be considered masculine or to be considered a man. And the most prominent way men try to express their masculinity in the modern world is through the visual expression of masculinity. It's through going to the gym, taking steroids, fucking getting the jawline, the cheekbones, looking as masculine as possible. And although there isn't something inherently flawed into wanting to look masculine, this was perfectly natural throughout history. But the obsession and the one-centeredness over the visual expression of masculinity is a modern invention. So we will have to look at how we try to achieve masculinity throughout history so we can actually see the flaws in the modern obsession with this visual expression of masculinity. Masculinity throughout history focused on three main pillars, and that is protection, provision, and status seeking. And when we look at our earliest form of society, our earliest time where we could express our masculinity, we come into our hunter-gatherer times. And in those tribes, we had what's called rites of passage. Basically, this test to see if a boy actually became a man, or a test to refine to make a boy a man. I don't know exactly what it is. And one of the best examples I can give is one of the modern tribes. They have this rite of passage where they basically put this bullet and gloves, which is one of the most painful things in the entire animal kingdom, if not the worst thing possible. And then they put on these gloves, these boys put on the gloves, and then they need to endure it for like 10 minutes or something, I don't remember exactly. And the thing is, when we actually look at our biology, our testosterone, it makes perfect sense. Why would you do a test like this and not focus on some form of a visual expression of masculinity? Because when we think about this, the major role of testosterone is to make hard work and things rewarding if it will get you status. The main role of testosterone is to motivate you to seek status. And when everybody looks at you and a lot of status is on the line on whether or not you actually endure those bullet ends, your testosterone plays a massive role on whether or not you will actually pass this. Right. And when we look at it from societal perspective and see what was the masculine ideal throughout history, it always was focused on some form of self-control, on military, on discipline, or things that are meant to control your impulses and to impose your will into the world. For example, in ancient Greek Rome, military was a huge thing. Bravery and being courageous was very important because your tribe was on your fucking responsibility. And if you were a pussy, if you were weak, if you could not control your impulses, you were a fucking liability. You weren't a worthy man. So it made sense why these social pressures, these cultural evolutionary pressures made masculine ideal be about their self-control, their self-mastery, and their ability to endure shit and to actually even find the shit rewarding. You can see now the contrast between the historical masculine ideal, which focused on the being aspect of masculinity, compared to our modern obsession with just looking masculine. Maybe you think that what's the problem with it? Because we don't fight wars anymore, we don't have anything dangerous, so why wouldn't we save all of the pain, all of the effort, energy and time and just look masculine, just have the visual representation? And although it is a plausible thought, there is two major problems with it. The first one being it actually ignores the actual utility of a masculine character. You see, the reason why throughout history it was way more important or prominent is because your survival was actually at stakes. People could come, kill all the men and take the wives, okay? But in the modern world we don't have it. But although we don't have it, there is a fucking competition. It is just indirect. People still compete economically. People still build businesses and seek high status jobs. And to actually acquire those jobs or to actually build those businesses, you actually need this masculine character. And the second thing is people do care about your character. People aren't as superficial as you might think they are. Okay, at first, yeah, they will be like, oh shit, you look masculine, you're very impressive. But if you turn out to be an actual pussy behind the face of this masculinity, they lose way more respect than if you just wasn't even looking masculine at the first place. And in the modern world, we still have this need for a masculine character, so you cannot just bypass these needs and just look masculine. That's why you can see a lot of those bodybuilders fucking looks maxes, people who look very masculine, yet they are still very insecure and fucking think they are pussies, because you cannot bypass this inherent need of a masculine character.